Through its light, all those engaged in it bestow with divine providence, for upper light and abundance above reason are abundant with the secrets of Torah, meaning secrets and concealments of the Torah. Since it is influenced from there, that connection is called the Book of Zohar, meaning that it is abundant with that brilliance.
קטע מספר 3 מתוך אדיר במרום כ"ד.
Number 3. Here Rashbi composed the Book of Zohar, according to the illumination that reached him when he was being corrected in the cave. That is a great and awesome composition, which reveals the depth of the secrets with great clarity about the Torah itself, and it is called the revelation of the Torah in its interior. Item number 4. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was revealing the secrets of Torah while the friends were listening to his voice and connecting with him in this connection. And each were responding with their portion, as was done in the Mishnah by the Tanaim. And our holy Rabbi compiled all of them in the book of Mishnah. This is what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wanted, that all the articles of his yeshiva students would be put together into a book, to be a commentary about the Torah, since all the collections speak about private matters, but the Zohar is written about the whole Torah, and it is called the Great Opening to the collective of the Torah. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai commanded Rabbi Abba to write and arrange all the things that the sages speak about in the yeshiva, whenever and wherever they were, to arrange everything according to the Torah. Item number 5 from Baal HaSulam, a speech for the completion of the Zohar. Rashbi and his generation, the authors of the Zohar, who were granted all 125 degrees in completeness, even though it was prior to the days of the Messiah, Mashiach. It was said about him and his disciples, a sage is preferable to a prophet. Hence, we often find in the Zohar that there will be none like the generation of Rashbi until the generation of the Messiah King. This is why his composition made such a great impact in the world, since the secrets of the Torah in it occupy the level of all 125 degrees.
קטע מספר 6 מתוך
Item number 6 from Zohar for everyone. The wisdom that one should know, to know and to observe the secret of his master, to know himself, to know who he is, how he was created, where he comes from, and where he is going, how the body is corrected, and how he will be judged by the King of all. To know and to observe the secret of the soul. What is the soul within him? Where does it come from? And why does it come into this body? Which is a foul drop that is here today and in the grave tomorrow? To know the world one is in, and for what will the world be corrected? To gaze upon the sublime secrets of the upper world, and to know one's master. And one observes all that from within the secrets of the Torah.
Item
number 7. The Creator has no contentment in His world except when we engage in this wisdom. Moreover, man was not created except to study the wisdom of Kabbalah. Now we're turning off our phones. We're going to prepare for the lesson. Whoever wants to ask a question, ask for the microphone, and to ask in a loud and clear voice.
מבוסס על סדרת ספרי זוהר לעם. ניתן להוריד את
This
הספרים.
lesson is based on the books Zohar for Everyone.
להזמינם בטלפון 1-700-509-209.
אנחנו קוראים בספר
We're
זוהר
reading from Zohar for Everyone on volume number 4,
פרשת משפטים,
We're in
פסקה
the portion of Mishpatim,
4.
section item 385. You can ask questions, and selected questions will be answered during the lesson.
The book of Zohar is a special book. It was written about 2,000 years ago. It was written not for those times, and not for the duration of those 2,000 years, so as to be used in previous generations, but rather only for our generation. As Baal Sulam writes, that he sees that he was given the ability to interpret the book of Zohar, and that in that he sees that the book of Zohar has opened up, and it's a sign, an indication that we are in the days of the Messiah. And so, by reading, by using the book of Zohar, we can enjoy its light. And its light is capable of correcting and fixing all of the broken vessels. So how do we correct them? By making an effort to be as one whole vessel, connected, all of its parts, although they're broken, corrupted, but when they try to be together, the upper light works upon them accordingly. They're completely opposite to one another, but they try by force to adhere to one another, and then the light acts upon them and they receive the power of connection. So let's try to be together as much as we can during the reading of the Zohar, in our hearts, in our aspirations. Let's try to connect. And so we will come to having this upper radiance influence us and affect us. And in these connections, we will discover the Creator and the contentment that we bring to Him. So please.
פסקה 384, כותרת memtet ומות.
Memtet and Mot.
אתה שחזרת בתשובה והתדבקת בעץ החיים, הרי יצאת ממדרגת
And now that you've actually repented and you have adhesion to,
This means repenting, repentance.
יהיה עץ החיים, שהוא וו בין י'
that is Vav between Yud K, and it will go into Yud Vav, the 49 faces of the Torah, and there will be a Mot, and that will not allow the Mot.
שבשמע ישראל וברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד, שהם 6 מילים של הייחוד העליון, וו עליונה, תפארת, ו6 מילים שניות של ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד, של הייחוד התחתון, וו שנייה של מילוי.
6, the upper ones, which is the righteous, and they are the Mot. And in the middle of the 2 letters is the Vav, which, as it is written, and there will be 2 Mots in the letter with the letter Vav. 385. Without a Vav in the middle, it is Mat. As it is written, a righteous wavers before the wicked. And who subtracted it? It is 1, meaning 1 of 50. This is so because you were given 50 gates, minus 1, as we learned that Moses was given 50 gates of Binah, but 1. This is the one that is missing from the 50, leaving Mat, which is 49. And this caused you that a righteous wavers before the wicked, and the wicked is Sam. 386. This is Memtet, Mat, from your rod, as it is written, with God's staff in my hand. Your staff is Moshe's rod, and this is why Aleph Binah returns to you as we learn Aleph Binah. She returns to you in repentance, will enter between the Vav and the Vav, and will become Vav Aleph Vav, to keep the words of Israel within you. And with great compassion I will gather you. Henceforth he will never allow the righteous to be shaken, will be kept in you. 387. At that time 2 mitzvot will be in you. You shall surely rise with him, and secondly, you shall surely leave it with him. Raise with an upper Vav is the first Mashiach, son of David. Raise with a second Vav is the second Mashiach, the Mashiach, son of Joseph, Yosef. With him is some of Amram, the ascent of Bina Aleph between the 2 Vavs, and they are Vav which with this filling Vav. 388. To whom is surely raised? It is to the letter Hey Malchut, which fell in the 5th millennium after 72 years, as the number of will surely leave it with him. Leave is the letters Ayin Bet Zayin Vav. Ayin Bet is Ab, names, and journeyed, and came, and pitched. This is the acronym of This is Vav. Vav is from the Yud Kei Vav, Zerampin. There he helped and did not keep her. There is in the 5,072 years. Helped means helping that fallen Hey, and did not keep her means that it is still not the time of resurrection and redemption. This is the meaning of you shall surely leave, only help. There is where the verse in its season, the first and last rain, and you will gather your grain and your wine and your oil, which are Israel, applies. That is, through the corrections of first rain and last rain in their time, Israel are gathered from the exile. Grain means Israel, wine are the Levites, and oil are the priests. So are the corrections of the gathering of forgetting and of corners. You shall leave them for the poor and for the foreigner. And when we learn a third mitzvah, the gathering of what was forgotten and the corners. 389. We should repeat them, keep them, since on the part of the righteous Yesod he is the poor. You shall surely leave is Yesod Tzadik. With him is the son of Amram. This is the meaning of you shall leave them for the poor and for the foreigner. And you are the foreigner, a poor nation. As was written of you in the beginning, I was a foreigner in a foreign land. 390. But the rising, the redemption, is in your degree. Raise is the bottom Vav, the filling of the Vav, Yesod. Raise with him means with the son of Amram, in your highest degree, Tiferet. In your name, Mem-He, Havaya, with the filling of Alephs, which is Ma, in Gematria, the complete explicit name. After the Kuf of shall surely rise, the Taf Yud Men remain. This points to Yaakov, a whole man, Tiferet. With him means he will rise with the son of Amram. Raise means Tzadik Yesod. Raise is whole Tiferet. Redeeming a Hebrew slave.
If there are any questions, you're welcome and invited to ask. You can ask whatever you want, not necessarily related to the Zohar. No? So let's continue.
391. The subsequent mitzvah is to redeem a Hebrew slave and a Hebrew maidservant, to designate the Hebrew maidservant, to discuss the possession of a Hebrew slave. You shall surely give him. It is written about it, if you buy a Hebrew slave, he shall serve for 6 years. Angel Matat is the servant of the Creator, and includes Vak Chagat Nehi as the number of his 6 letters, which are the 6 orders of the Mishnah, and by which one should serve his master. be a slave to him, and become the possession of his silver. Silver is right, Avraham, whose degree is chesed. The Torah is given from there.
Of course, the Zohar, even though we hear it talk about things that have to do with our planet, the universe, people, animals, plants, it only discusses the parts of the soul and how we correct it, how we reconstitute it and bring it back to its corrected state. Wait, yes.
Rav, quería hacerle una pregunta porque hace unas clases atrás había dicho que en Latinoamérica tenía que ser un ejemplo para el Cliolamí.
A few lessons ago, Rav spoke about that the Latin Kli should be an example to the world Kli. So what kind of example should we be to the Kli Olami?
What does he mean? What kind of example?
You spoke about being that they should be an example to the Kli Olami.
To be an example. I think that Latin America is growing stronger. Its groups are growing stronger. There are several strong groups there. They can make a bit more of a noise around the world. There were many hiding there behind the bend of the earth. They were unheard, and now it's time. I feel them as a stronger vessel than North America, and also than Europe in many aspects. But they're sitting there quietly, unheard. They need to think of how to strengthen everyone, to show them how they act, what they do. And it seems to me that also according to the number of people who came from them to the Congress this year, it's very impressive. And that's what I meant. And if you want to participate in more, then just say what, and I'll be happy to accommodate. Let's advance towards some kind of common joint actions. Let's think about it. But let's continue for now.
392. One who engages in the Torah to be rewarded with the next world, it is called possession. His silver is named after the world of pleasure, possession after the words God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and the verse acquire wisdom, chokhmah, acquire understanding, binah. 393. Once he has bought it, he will have redemption. There are those who are bought forever, and those who are bought for 6 years. It is written about those who are bought forever, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. There is no world but the world of Yovel, Binah, 50, the Shema reading, in which there are 25 letters in the evening prayer, and 25 in the morning prayer, which are the 50 gates of Binah. 394. After a man unites the Creator in them, he is his servant with a burden of tefillin on his head and with his ear pierced, meaning open to hear the Shema reading, since he has heard that he must understand the meaning of the Shema reading, which is the unification. 395. One whose redemption depends on the Shema reading, the 50th, Binah, he has no redemption in an incarnation by another, since he is pierced to his master. Here it does not say, or his uncle or cousin will redeem him, since in man's prayer he is a servant, in whom it is written, he shall serve 6 years, and there is no work but prayer. 6 years he shall serve, the first 3 and the last 3 in the 18 prayer, when the leader in the prayer exempts a man for those who do not know how to pray in them. Thus,
We must not forget about unity. This is the time to think about unity. The text is a sgula, a special power. It doesn't matter what's written there. Even if I don't exactly hear it, it passes by my ears. The main thing for me is to always be thinking about the unity, the connection, and then the light will affect us. The reading text invites the light, and the light acts upon our efforts to connect. So the main thing is the efforts to connect. So let's not forget about that, please.
Thus he has redemption through another. Since the leader in the prayer redeems him, that the righteous who lives forever, Yesod, the leader in the prayer, is called by them after the name of the one who does not know how to pray, meaning by the name Boaz, Tzaddik, near Redeemer and loyal. The meaning of these names is that they help and redeem those who cannot help themselves. This is the marriage to the brother and the incarnation. 396. The Lord is near to all who call upon him. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother who is far. In the middle pillar, Tiferet. Yesod is a neighbor who is near, and Tiferet is a brother who is far, son of Ko, who rose to Binah. This is so because a world is the world of Yovel, the 50 letters of the unification of the Shema reading, 50 gates of Binah. In this world, Malchut, a man can have redemption from a tzaddik, a righteous person, Yesod, who is 6 years, that include the first 3 blessings and the last 3 of the prayer. The small vav, Yesod, and this is the meaning of 6 years he shall serve. 397. But in the next world, the world of Yovel, Binah, where there are the 50 letters of the Shema reading, the leader in the prayer cannot exempt him because he has no redemption through others. For this reason, Shema, in any language that you hear, but you must read by yourself. This is why, if I am not for me, who, me, is for me? Me is Malchut, me, the world of Yovel, Binah. It implies to the Shema reading, when there is no me, but me.
Questions?
Как ученикам наладить связи с учителем?
How should a student arrange his connection with the teacher?
That depends on an inner understanding, the student's inner understanding, and also assistance from above. It may be that one hears what he needs to do, but is unable to do it. It doesn't work out. It doesn't pan out. It's his nature. It's his character. He's not being allowed it from above, from the heavens, not being allowed to annul before the teacher. And there's one for whom it is easy to do. It's his natural character, natural type. When such people come to the wisdom of Kabbalah, here it's a bit different than what they had in other places where they may have studied something. There's different rules here than are customary outside. Different rules. So what can I say? We need to think about this. We need to read about it. And it may be that the heart will soften and the mind will understand what needs to be done. The teacher doesn't need to know about this. It's entirely about the student, the way he orients himself through the group, towards the teacher, the creator, and that's how it works. Meaning everything depends on the importance. Everything depends on importance.
It's
like with the society. How many times have we heard that we need to annul, we need to connect, we need to do this or that? Well, we do something, but in an external manner. It's as if we're putting on a show. But inside, the heart doesn't want it. Then we get blows and ascents and descents, changes of states, and we don't know what to do anymore. We despair. And then, precisely due to these extreme states, the heart softens and allows a bit more feeling, allows you to come closer a little bit, allows one to be impressed by another. That's the work. It's great work. Yeah. Meaning the Boré, and under him there's you have the creator, under him the teacher, and then the group, or perhaps the teacher is off to one side to some extent, and the group, and then the student. That's how it works.
Is it correct that the connection to the teacher is through the group?
Is it correct if... Yes and no. Because the teacher is something... it's on the side. He recommends, he directs you. And the group is that system which we need to construct, to integrate with, and within it to reveal the Creator. The teacher is something that the student doesn't exactly know who or what the teacher is. It can be something off to one side which gives recommendations and advice, and he guards, or also it can be someone who's as a superior one above. He helps the student as the upper one. The teacher can be above the group, below the group. It's his role is multifaceted.
So what is the connection of the students to the upper teachers?
We are in contact with them only through their writings. If we adhere to their writings and we accept their writings as the Torah, as instructions for our lives, by that we establish a connection with them. There is no other way. Later on it will be revealed.
So these texts, you need to read them through the 10?
This is obvious, yes. As the Rabash writes, we've gathered here to establish a society, to found a society in order to follow the path of Baal Sulam and his recommendations and so on. Of course.
What?
Yes, who else?
רציתי לשאול על המילה תפילה.
I wanted to ask about the word of prayer. I know that prayer for myself doesn't work, and when we learn...
Prayer for oneself does not work in a positive way. It works negatively. It's advisable never to activate it.
So how can I actually say a prayer for somebody else, and at the end of the day I say there's none else beside him, which is really a prayer to him? It really basically confuses me, this prayer.
Prayer is raising man. It's a request. So a request can't come from below upwards or from above downwards, if not through the 10. Only through the 10. Yes. Give him the microphone back.
Раф, вы сказали о том, что при чтении Зора нам нужно думать об объединении.
Rav, you said that during the Zohar we need to think about unity.
The Zohar was written by a 10, Rabbi Shimon and his students, his disciples. That was the 10. They wrote of what will transpire at the end of correction, and so we also need to be in a 10 in order to read the book of Zohar and to enjoy it, to benefit from it.
Is that correct, that when we read the other sources?
Yes, that's also recommended. It's right, they weren't written like the Zohar in a 10, but rather by one individual, it may be. Yes, but still, for us, in order to receive this impression of the Creator through these books, we need to be connected. So it's written about that, at least 2. The smallest group is 2 people. So in that light, we need to connect together, at least a few people, not necessarily a whole 10, and to study that way. To study by oneself, it's not certain that this is useful, that it brings any benefit. Lacking for choice, a person studies, but it's more scholarly wisdom than Torah. It's more study rather than connection.
Здравствуйте. Я занимаюсь в виртуальной группе и во время урока Зоар читаю книгу и не могу постоянно смотреть на экран и впечатляться от товарищей.
I learn in a virtual group, and during the lesson I read the book, and I can't always look at the screen. And
you don't need to see their faces. It's enough that you feel that you're together with them.
Но стараюсь думать о том, что я этим впечатляю их, и что свет повоздействует. И вот что еще добавить?
I'm really trying to think that this will actually give me my impressions, and that they all will actually... Do I need to add anything else?
You don't need anything else. Continue with that, and changes will come. The light will arrange all these changes for you. Ascents, descents, they will come. Yes.
En la clase del Zohar,
debo Zohar lesson,
por mi decena o traerlo en pensamiento y pensar por cada uno de ellos.
Should I be praying for the 10, or to actually bring each of them? Should I separately or not?
No. Not separate. The whole 10 together. We need to pray for the whole 10 to be as one. Yes?
Recently I have a feeling that in order to bestow means in order to help the others to acquire the quality to bestow.
לאחרונה יש לי הרגשה שהתכונה של להשפיע זה לעזור לאחרים להשיג את תכונת ההשפעה.
And this
That's also correct. Yes, that's right.
includes everything that we learn. I have such a feeling.
ויש לי הרגשה שזה כולל את כל מה שאנחנו לומדים.
Correct. It's written, one who prays for his friend is awarded first. If I make an effort to help others in anything that my friends need in order to connect them together, this is my investment, my best possible investment in advancement.
Раф, ну вот мы сейчас сидим не в постоянных десятках, а иногда в постоянных, иногда в смешанных. И вот когда начинаешь молиться за десятку, то возникает ощущение, что этого мало тебе. Хочется включить всю группу в эту молитву. А на конгрессе, например, весь и себя ограничиваешь.
Дай перевести.
Not in our fixed groups, and sometimes they're mixed. And I have a feeling that you want to actually include everybody in the 10.
И нужно себя ограничивать, и вот именно ограничиваться десяткой, или если...
Ни в коем случае.
No, we don't need, one doesn't need to limit himself to a certain 10 or 2 10s or 3 10s or the whole world as a 10. It doesn't matter. The important thing is to think of how we want to create a connection in order to allow the Creator to be revealed. That's the whole idea behind the connection, because connection, He will influence us, He will establish this connection. We will be the constituent parts within that connection, and then He will be revealed in us as the good connection between us, and by that we bestow contentment upon Him. We are as the vessel, the infrastructure. We give Him contentment by allowing Him to be revealed in us. So why does it matter to me? As many people as can be should join to be part of this kli.
For the whole of the world kli?
Even beyond the world kli, all of humanity, all of the souls, everything that exists within the soul of Adam HaRishon. Everything. All right? From who?
Creo que está contestada la pregunta. Buenas tardes, Rab. Creo que me contestó la pregunta porque quería... ¿Por qué el Zohar nos resalta que está escrito para las generaciones?
¿Qué generaciones?
Dice, se refiere a que el Zohar está escrito para las generaciones.
דובר פה שהזוהר כתוב לדורות.
Zohar is written for the generations.
Not for generations. The Zohar was written and hidden, concealed, in order to be revealed in 2,000 years from then. That's what the Kabbalists did. Because it's not written for that generation, when it was written, and not to all of those generations throughout those 2,000 years that passed after that. But only in our generation it began to be revealed when Bala Sulam added the interpretation of the latter to it. Otherwise, it's impossible to understand it, to connect with it. So you can ask, okay, so what if we don't understand it? Even we don't understand it with the interpretation of Bala Sulam. So what? No, you can't connect. There's no connection. I can't even explain it. Why shouldn't it be written in some language, in some... something like the Aborigine language in Australia. Any other language which nobody understands except for those people who know it. So it's not important to me. I listen, I hear, and I intend to correct myself through connection with the help of the light, which will affect me and return me to the good, reform me. No, it's all fine and well. It's right, but not for our time. We're at a time where we need to come closer to a connection to the Zohar, to the understanding of the Zohar, the knowing of the Zohar. There's one of the great Kabbalists, like Bala Sulam, and they need to give us a connection to the degree where the Zohar is at. And that's why today we can do that. All right?
No.
Yes.
Раф, во время урока ЗОР, когда концентрируешься на молитве товарищей и на объединении, приходит через какое-то время помеха, мысль о чем-то, и ты в какое-то время варишься в ней.
During the Zohar lesson, when you're actually concentrating on the prayer for the friends, and after a while some disturbance comes along, and then it just stays within you.
Сознание, что ты в этой помехе находишься, и ты снова концентрируешься на объединении.
And after that, you realize that you're in that disturbance, and then you can again concentrate on connection.
Не пускать эти помехи, либо предвидеть их, или фильтр какой-то поставить на них, чтобы не вариться в них.
Is it possible to learn without falling down into these disturbances, having some sort of filter and knowing these going to happen ahead of time?
Pray. Pray. Who's giving you these disturbances? The Creator? Pray to Him. Nothing else will help. Alright? What duty? You're forbidden from asking questions. Right, let's continue. Who?
There are a question from the World Kli. It's
What is that question? They're asking about the writers of the Zohar, if they wrote the book according to the feeling that we need to have when we read the Zohar. Where are we and where are they? Just understand a little bit the magnitude of the difference. They wrote the book from the degree of the end of correction, meaning all of the vessels of Adam HaRishon, meaning the entirety of the will to receive, which the Creator has created, was in them in that 10. It was a complete 10. It held within it the soul of Adam HaRishon, meaning all of reality, all of the will to receive, in its corrected form. In its corrected form. And they used the upper light, all of the upper light, as a surrounding light to correct them, and as an inner light to fill them. And the Creator revealed in their midst. This is Zohar. That's the meaning of it. It's a miracle what happened to them. Because they were just before the shattering, the exile, so that happened in order to provide light for the end of the exile, to reconnect the vessels. And now we're at the other end. After 2,000 years of exile, we can now reconnect. All right. All well? Yes.
Если ты чувствуешь, что нужно соединение, но ты не можешь вызвать ее, но ты чувствуешь, что нет связи на самом деле, и ты делаешь все, чтобы связаться, и все равно не получается. И вот как с этим работать, за чего зацепиться?
If you feel that you need connection, but you can't actually awaken it within yourself, you try, but you can't, what are you supposed to hold on to, grasp onto?
Do whatever you can. And don't be sorry for yourself. That's very important. But only for the 10, for a completed vessel. And it's even better to be sorry not for the friends, but because you can't be connected, all of you together, enough in order to feel a state that the Creator can enjoy. Let's continue. Double-edged sword, 398. When the heads of the seminaries who came down with Rabbi Shimon heard the words, they started and said to Moshe, Moshe, you are the mouth of the upper and lower divinity, Binah and Malchut, in both of which the Creator has spoken to you mouth to mouth in the Shema reading, as it is written, the high praises of God be in their mouths and a two-edged sword in their hands. It is so because Yud de Havaya is the head of the sword that surrounds your lip. Vav de Havaya is the tongue of your sword. The two letters Hey de Havaya are the two edges in your lips. And certainly, the name of your master, divinity, speaks from your mouth. Yud Hey Vav Hey is in your thought, eliciting these 50 gates of Binah from your mouth. Torah is the mochin that appear from Binah in Da'at to Zon and to Bia. And this is the sword that subdues and destroys the Sitra Achra, and which is revealed associating Malchut with Binah, which equalizes their forms to one another. During the Katnut, Binah has the form of Malchut, and during the Gadlut, Malchut has the form of Binah, meaning she obtains her mochin. For this reason, they both have the same letter Hey in the name Havaya. For they are one form in the sword's mouth, and they are considered the two mouths of the sword, which is the Torah. The force of the sword is primarily in them, because were it not for the equivalence, there would not be disclosure to the Torah there. It follows that they are the primary ones who act to destroy the Sitra Achra, like the tip of the sword, which is the primary operator of the sword. Also, they are one form in the mouth, which is the place of disclosure of the mochin through speech, where Binah is the upper lip and Malchut is the lower lip. This is why they said, Moshe, you are the mouth of the upper and lower divinity, for he became a mouth to the two of them together, which is the only possibility for the disclosure of the Torah, in both of which the Creator has spoken to you mouth to mouth in the Shema reading. There are 50 letters in the verse here, or Shema. These are the gates of Binah, from which there are all the mochin that come in the revelation of the Torah. The high praises of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. Writes of Moshe's mouth, Yud de Havaya is Chochmah that mates with the upper lip, which is Binah, and the first Hey de Havaya, the head of the sword, Gal. Vav de Havaya is the tongue in the mouth, and Moshe's sword, the Da'at that extends from the Zivug of Yud Hey, the Torah. The two letters Hey of Havaya are the two edges in your lips. The upper lip is Binah, and the lower lip is Malchut. They act to disclose the mochin in the correction of equalizing their forms to one another. And when Malchut is corrected in this manner, it is called the name of heaven. This is why they said, indeed, the name of your master, divinity, speaks in your mouth, meaning that Malchut speaks and reveals the mochin from Binah. Yud Hey Vav Hey, in your thought, is the middle line in the thought, which is Gal, that elicits 50 gates of Binah from Moshe's mouth in Shema. 399. The root of these matters is the correction of Malchut in Binah and their equivalence of form with one another. This is the reason why Eliyahu is detained above, imprisoned there, as though in prison, and does not come down to you. This is because he would come down to you with great wealth, great richness, and he is imprisoned above and does not come down to you, because your poverty is redemption for Israel. This is why the Messiah said, until the poor man arrives. As it is written, and by his scourging we are healed. Because of the mitigation of Malchut in Binah, Malchut Demidat Adin, or the quality of judgment, was concealed. She is the 50th gate, which is hidden by this concealment. For this reason, the 50 gates of Binah were given to Moshe, minus one, the 50th gate. This is Moshe's poverty, for there is none who is poor except in knowledge, meaning who lacks the 50th gate. And the 50th gate appears with the revelation of Eliyahu, since due to the mitigation of Malchut in Binah, in the double-edged sword, Malchut of Midat Adin was concealed, meaning the 50th gate. And Eliyahu, who is the disclosure of the 50th gate, is detained above like a prisoner in a prison and cannot come down and disclose it. He would not come down to you with great richness, the richness of knowledge that reveals the 50th gate, and yet he is imprisoned above because your poverty is redemption for Israel. For were it not for the mitigation of Malchut in Binah and the concealment of Malchut of Midat Adin, Zon and the worlds would not be fit for Mochin Degar. It follows that Moshe's poverty, which is the disappearance of the 50th gate, due to the concealment, is Israel's redemption. By that, Zon and the worlds become fit for Mochin Degar, to bestow upon Israel, on which the redemption and the end of the correction depend. This is why Eliyahu was imprisoned above and cannot disclose the 50th gate before Israel receive all the mochin that should be revealed by this mitigation of Malchut in Binah. For this reason, Eliyahu is necessarily imprisoned above and cannot come down to disclose the 50th gate. Redemption depends on the arrival of the poor man, Moshe, from the 50th gate, revealing all the mochin that must be revealed. And by his scourging, we are healed. Since that pain and scourging of the deficiency of the 50th gate, he reveals all the mochin and heals Israel from all their deficiencies. 400. Permission was given to him, and he came down to me, since he is more important to me than all the silver in the world. And I absolve him and release him and break his oath for him. You too must break it for him. And if he needs further release, we will try with his release so he may come down to me. Love. Yes.
During the reading of the Zohar, when you say we must pray for the friends, is it enough to just keep on repeating that I'm praying for the friends, I'm wishing the connection for them?
בזמן קריאת הזוהר, כשאתה אומר שצריך להתפלל עבור החברים, האם זה מספיק לחזור על זה כל הזמן, שאני צריך להתפלל על החברים, לבקש עבורם את החיבור?
How do you actually pray?
איך בפועל מתפללים?
I
need to describe to myself and depict it that my friends know what the goal is and how we need to integrate all together within that goal, or with that goal. And so I take these deficiencies, these lacks which I imagine are in them, and I elevate them, and I ask for the friends that the Creator will correct them. And I'm part of them, but I pray for them. This is me being the public servant. I pray for them. When bestowal comes, connects us together, we begin to feel closer to one another, and that we're in one collective desire, one shared desire. We understand each other more. We begin to feel that between us there is some inner connection that's being disclosed. And this inner connection is something like our inner gene, the inner gene of our 10, because it's not for nothing that we are close to one another physically also. There's a very extended, great system that organizes it that way. And it's enough for me to pray in that way, meaning that I want the friends to connect, for the Creator to connect them and be revealed within them. And that's it. There's nothing special that I have to add. There's nothing more to add. Yes.
When I find myself in disconnection, should I bless the realization of the disconnection or the opportunity to reconnect? And is there a difference between the two?
Again, what are the two? Should you bless the reconnection or what?
Should I bless the realization that I'm disconnected?
האם לברך על המימוש של חוסר החיבור? על ההכרה, סליחה, האם לברך על ההכרה של חוסר החיבור?
Or the opportunity that I get a chance to reconnect?
או על ההזדמנות להתחבר מחדש?
זה לא חשוב.
It doesn't matter. It's as if you're in all these fine discernments, fine details. We don't need that. It's better for us to simply think of connection in general and for the Zohar to give us that connection. Don't start going into these little things. You'll miss the main point. I want everyone to be connected and for the Creator to have room to be discovered, revealed there, and to receive contentment from that. That's it. Simplest way. If one thinks of all the private situations that he's going through, if he thinks about that, he's doing great work. Because it works for him at one time and doesn't at another, but he gets used to doing this work always, regardless of what state he's in. So, yes.
Мне тогда самое важное, чтобы у них было желание к объединению.
So the main thing for me is that they will have the desire to connect.
I don't know if they have the desire to connect or not. I pray for them. I don't wait for them to have a desire and then I elevate their desire. I elevate my desire, yes, as if they want, as if they're ready, as if they only lack a blessing from above, for the Creator to bestow from above. All right? Well, I understand him. Yes.
Siempre antes de comenzar el rezo,
תמיד לפני תחילת התפילה,
debo
Before the beginning of the prayer,
mostrarme las carencias de mi amigo por la cual yo debo rezar.
האם אני צריך להודות לבורא על זה
do I need to thank the Creator that I'm raising the deficiency?
If the Creator shows me deficiencies in the friends, it's very good, because I need to overcome these deficiencies, these flaws, and say that what I see are not flaws in the friends, but rather in me. And I need to see the friends as complete, righteous people, completely corrected, and I pray for them because they only need the Creator to be revealed in them, and for Him to enjoy it. Yes, that's it. The moment I see a flaw in a friend, I need to be grateful for the Creator, to the Creator for showing me my own deficiencies, my own flaws. All right? But why aren't you asking when you're abroad? Each one where he lives. Is it impossible to ask questions from there? Or do you ask, can we here not listen? What's going on? Do you try to ask questions and it doesn't arrive here? Or?
No.
Yes.
Я думаю, что здесь чувствуется важность большая, побольше важность. И я имею в виду, что
I think here we feel more importance.
Нет такой связи, что физически еще влияет очень много, чем внутреннее.
And the connection that the physical state affects us more than the internal state.
Perhaps it's the other way around. I'm far away, and then I'm more concerned about the connection, about lacking connection, and then I ask even more questions, no? Or does that distance disconnect me? Or perhaps the distance does something else. It awakens me to try to maintain the connections. Yes?
There is a feeling that until you actually ask a question, then the lesson changes.
That's true.
No.
Yes.
Вот когда я не вижу недостатки в товарищах и понимаю, что это мои недостатки, что мне дальше делать? То есть из-за меня они не могут не объединиться. Мне Творца нужно попросить, чтобы...
When I see the deficiencies in my friends and I realize that they're my deficiencies, what am I supposed to do after that?
I pray for them to be connected and for me to integrate with them and be corrected also. For myself, it's forbidden to pray in any state you can imagine, regardless of the state. It's taboo. That's the first condition. Never for myself. But if I pray for them and I belong to that 10, then I'm doing the work for them and for me as well. And we equate, we become one vessel, and the light organizes us. Never for myself.
Ken.
Yes.
Por lado, podemos estar lendo o Zohar sozinho e pensando nos outros amigos.
On one hand, we can read the Zohar by ourselves and to think about the friends.
Estar lendo juntos e pensando em nós outros mesmos.
On the other hand, we can also read together, and each of us thinks about ourselves. So to read together, you mean physically? What does that mean to read together?
You see how it is here. One reads aloud and everyone else listen. Maybe they don't even know how to read. They don't know the language, or maybe they never learned to read even at school. Or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that they want, through this action, to connect together. It's the desire that counts. They want to connect together by that action. And then the light works, connects us together, and in the correct connection which the Creator organizes, the Creator is revealed. Just perform as many of these actions in the most accurate way possible. Even though we can't do it yet, but we make an effort, like children, like little children. We make an effort, and then it happens. Then it happens. Just the effort, the attempt. Is that it? No more questions. Well, you're veterans. Is it from abroad or from abroad? All right then.
Ramazanov
from Baku. Sometimes I feel stuck inside me when I'm actually praying to the Creator to fix me. What is my mistake?
Maybe scrutinizing a bit too much. But prayer is simple. Describe or depict the 10 and ask for its ask for the best for it. What does it mean? That it takes on such a form that the Creator can be discovered in, revealed.
Gabo from Serbia asks if I have an opportunity to connect to a physical group, and then I also have an opportunity to connect to a virtual group with where I feel a better connection. What is more preferable?
Physically. A physical group is preferable to a virtual group, whatever the case may be. I'll tell you. He should check. If the virtual group is more comfortable for his ego, perhaps that's why he thinks it's better. You understand? But a physical group, there he has problems, he has all kinds of pressures, and then he advances faster. All right? No more questions? No. So? Yes.
Мне еще насчет желания давать это. Если мы соединяемся в одно поле, мы стремимся к желанию давать, мне нужно, чтобы было где-то желание давать.
My desire to bestow, if we actually connect in one field and we succeed to bestow, doesn't.
From where will I have that? I don't have that. None of us has it. But we want the upper light to come and to form such a connection between us so that each one will have the desire to receive and the desire to bestow, and then we will be able to have some kind of reciprocity between us. No, there is no will to bestow. The upper light does that. The reforming light, he will give us the desire to bestow.
So everything really depends upon my desire.
Even if I don't want to bestow, the upper light will affect me, bestow to me, and elicit this desire to bestow in me.
So we always have to be connected to there is none else beside him.
For certain, and also with the group. Who shines the light that corrects you? The Creator. There's none else besides him. He illuminates and corrects and fills. He does everything for you.
Он непонятно, когда появится и когда исчезнет. Но кроме того, он показывает только изъяны.
But it's concealed from me. I don't know when it's going to appear, when it's not.
And deliberately he does these things to you, which are unpleasant, constantly showing you how weak you are, and how you don't want anything good, and so on and so forth, so that you, above that, will demand corrections.
перестал работать.
זהו. הם כבר הלכו הביתה.
Stopped working. They all went home already. All right.
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.